Ahoy, mateys, and welcome to this week's Down to Reading with yours truly, Miss Manickle. Today, mateys, we are going to be reading the realistic fiction Happy New Year. Happy New Year is not a true story, but the events that we're going to be reading about do indeed occur. And as we read today, mateys, we are going to be focusing on how are kids around the world different. But you guessed it, before we begin reading, we need to set sail with some vocabulary so we have a better understanding as we read Happy New Year. Tag. Tag is a common game that children like. Common means, mateys, something, an interest or appreciation that people share. And in this sentence, children share appreciation for the game of tag. Custom. Custom means when one person or people dress like someone or something. And in this picture, you can see one matey's dressed like a bumblebee and the other one is dressed like a ladybug. Custom. Customs is when a group of people do something over and over again. A turkey dinner and a family gathering are Thanksgiving customs. In other words, a turkey dinner and families getting together are something people do over and over again every Thanksgiving. Customs. Favorite. Favorite is when you like something the best. Autumn is our favorite season because we like cool weather best. These mateys, their favorite season that they like the best is autumn because of the cool weather. Parades. Our school band marches in town parades. That is when a group of people and bands walk together to celebrate a special event. Parades. Surrounded. We were surrounded by flowers. Surrounded means, mateys, when one person or thing is enclosed and everything else around it, and it's surrounded with everything around it. In this picture, these two mateys are enclosed by flowers, meaning everywhere they look, there are flowers. Surrounded. Travels. The car travels along the road. When someone travels, they make a trip. You can travel to a pool, you can travel to a beach, you can travel to a friend's house. There's various ways to make trips. Travels. Wonder. I wonder when it will stop raining. When you wonder, mateys, that means you think about something that you are curious about. And when you're curious about something, it's something that interests you. And in this picture, this matey is thinking about and wondering when it will stop raining. She's probably thinking about when it will stop raining because she's wondering if she'll be able to go outside to play. Wonder. Now that we went over the vocabulary, it is time together to read Happy New Year. And remember, we will be looking at how kids around the world are different. I celebrated the New Year twice in 1 year. Do you wonder how? I celebrated the holiday in the United States and then in China. So, mateys, the first paragraph lays out what we're going to be reading about. It's about someone who's going to celebrate New Year's twice, one time in the United States and another time in China. And as we read, I want you to think about how the celebrations are alike and how they are different. On December 31st, our city had a celebration to welcome the new year. This celebration began with a parade. A band played music, and I got my face painted like a lion. Then I watched a man carve animals from ice. We were surrounded by fun. That means, mateys, wherever they looked or wherever they went, they were having a good time. Just before midnight, everyone went to the park. The crowd counted down the last seconds of the old year. Then came my favorite part, the thing I liked the most. Pop, pop, pop. Fireworks like a shower of colorful light sprinkled down from the sky. So as you can see, mateys, if you look at these paragraphs 2 and 3, you can see that this young lady was explaining us the celebration in the United States. And one of the hints were on December 31st, New Year's Eve. And remember, they did fireworks, there were parades. Keep that in mind. Now, you've guessed it, we're going to learn about traditions or slash customs that how in China they celebrate the new year. Then my family took a plane to China. A plane is huge and travels over the ocean like a whale in the sky. We celebrated Chinese New Year with Grandma. This celebration is different than in the United States. It lasts for 15 days, not just one night. 15 days, mateys. After we arrived, Grandma surprised me with new red clothing. She said red brings good luck. On New Year's Eve, we went to Grandma's house. I learned many interesting Chinese customs. One custom is to have a family dinner that includes tasty dumplings. Then we stepped outdoors to watch a big parade. At the end, a rainbow of firecrackers snapped and popped in the sky. Later that week, we watched a Chinese lion dance. I'd never seen anything like it. Each pair of dancers wore a fancy lion costume, made of cloth as yellow as the sun. The dancers leaped through the air and did amazing tricks. We went to the Lantern Festival on the last day of the Chinese New Year. The full moon hung like a balloon in the dark sky. Everyone made paper lanterns that lit up the night. The two celebrations were different. They were the same too. They had one thing in common. They were both exciting family celebrations to welcome the new year. Now, as you can see, mateys, there were definitely some similarities and there were definitely some differences. And the last paragraph brought it all together so nicely by saying they had one thing in common. They were both exciting family celebrations to welcome the new year. Now, before we move on and you go to start doing some of your schoolwork, I want you to wonder, why in the United States do we only celebrate New Year's one day? And why in China do they celebrate 15 days? Well, let me explain to you why. In the United States, we look at how the earth rotates around the sun, okay? And then in China, what they do is they start on the new moon celebrating, and then their last day of celebration is the full moon. Okay, the day of the full moon. And what happens is the United States, January 1st is our new year. And in China, what happens is it's from January 20th to about January 21st to like about February 20th. All right. So it all depends on the moon. So there's a little slight difference with when China celebrates their New Year's. But that's part of the reason why they take 15 days to celebrate, because it starts on the new moon and then they wait until it's the full moon. And then that's the ending of the celebrations. Now, what I like you to do, mateys, is to reread this again. And I want you to think about how you can relate to the celebrations. I want you to think about, do you celebrate certain ways as described it with the girl when she was in the United States? And I want you to think about maybe you celebrate some of the Chinese customs as well. So I want you to think about that. And remember, mateys, there's not one wrong way. Okay? There's nothing wrong with people celebrating differently. It's part of our culture. It's what makes us unique and special. And as I said before, it's always a pleasure to read with you guys, always, and I always enjoy talking to you. So have a good day, and good luck with the rest of your schoolwork, and sail on!